Welcome back. Our next guest is Ronnie Cummings. He's a national director of the Organic Consumers Association. Mr. Cummings has been a longtime activist for clean, natural, organic food. For 15 years, he's headed this organization, and they're pushing for strict organic standards. Mr. Cummings, you're in Mexico right now, is that correct?
Yes, the Organic Consumers Association has a affiliated network in Mexico called Via Organica, which translates to the organic way. And we're very much involved here south of the border in fighting against Monsanto and genetically engineered foods and promoting the growing organic movement in Mexico.
Great. Now, there's a fight going on in California as well, right? Proposition 37. Tell us a little bit about how that's going.
Yes. After many years of trying to get the federal government or the Food and Drug Administration to listen to the public, 90% of whom want mandatory labeling of genetically engineered foods, a group of activists about a year and a half ago decided that let's forget about the federal government for now and let's use the California ballot initiative avenue in order to try to legislate laws directly. So what Proposition 37 is a citizen-powered ballot initiative that California voters will vote on November 6th. This law will require the mandatory labeling of genetically engineered foods and genetically engineered food ingredients, and it will also ban the routine industry practice of marketing or labeling so-called natural foods that contain genetically engineered ingredients.
Yeah, that's very important, I think, isn't it? You know, a lot of people are concerned about pesticides on the outside of their food, but, a lot of people don't realize that what they're getting is pesticides that have been genetically engineered systemically throughout the food. Is that correct?
Yes. The polling we've done in California and other places, approximately 40% of Americans feel that these genetically engineered foods are dangerous. Another 40% aren't sure whether they're dangerous or not. But one thing we all have in common is we want the ability to know what's in our food. We want to be able to choose whether to eat genetically engineered foods or not. Right now, the only way you can be sure to avoid genetically engineered foods is to buy organic foods, but these are not always available to people, which is the reason why we need mandatory labeling, just like 61 other countries in the world already have, including the European Union and Japan and China and India, Brazil, many others.
That's true, but even at places like Whole Foods, they admit that a lot of their food is genetically modified, and yet, their slogan is always natural, right? So, without any labeling, you really don't know what you're eating.
You sure don't. In the United States today, we're buying about $32 billion worth of certified organic foods. That's 4 or 5% of all grocery store sales. But consumers are also purchasing an even larger amount, $50 million worth of so-called natural or all-natural food and products. And when you look more closely, you find that there is nothing regulating the use of the word natural. In other words, it's a hype, it's greenwashing. Mm-hmm. So even in these natural food stores like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and in the natural section of conventional supermarkets, whether you're talking about H-E-B or Safeway or Publix, a lot of the stuff out there that bears the natural label is not natural at all. It was produced with genetically engineered seeds, pesticides were used, chemical fertilizers, so on and so forth. So our message is beware of natural, and if you want something really natural, look for organic. And that's the reason why we wrote into the ballot initiative in California, Proposition 37, that it will be against the law after November 6th in California to call something natural or all natural unless it really is.
I would think that a chain like Whole Foods would be interested in they would want to remove any question or any cloud as to whether their food that they're selling is first quality or totally organic. I would think that they would want to hop in with both feet on this initiative, but their support's been kind of lukewarm so far, hasn't it?
It has. It's taken a tremendous amount of pressure coming from public interest organizations such as Organic Consumers Association, or networks like Natural News or Mercola or Cornucopia Institute and Alex Jones' network to force Whole Foods to, first of all, they finally endorsed proposition in California saying they support it. But now, last few weeks, the pressure has been, it's not enough to just endorse. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. How about putting some serious resources into supporting Prop 37?
And that's a real important issue, isn't it? Because, I mean, you're really, there's a lot of money on the other side that's coming. How is that kind of stacking up in terms of the for and against advertising funding?
Yes. I mean, what's happened is that the people trying to deny us the right to know whether our food is genetically engineered or not, that is the biotechnology companies, the big multinational food corporations, the big supermarket chains, they have raised over $40 million so far, which is quite a bit for a state ballot initiative, in order to put a barrage of misleading and outright lying ads on television telling people that, if you vote yes on Prop 37, it's going to raise your grocery bills. It's going to create a vast bureaucracy in the state of California. It's going to hurt California family farmers. It's going to hurt small grocery stores and so on and so forth. Our side, the side pushing for yes on Proposition 13, has managed to raise about $6 million so far. So we're being outspent almost 7-1, and this has had an impact. The latest poll we did, we're still ahead in California, but we're only ahead by 8 points, 48 to 40, and we were ahead by 30 points a month ago. So we're making sure that we raise every dime we can. And we're also countering the power of this vast budget that Monsanto and the big agriculture have and big supermarkets. We have 10,000 volunteers out in the field in California who are leafleting every day out in front of grocery stores. We're tabling at county fairs and events and campuses and so on. We also have volunteers now organizing themselves into these phone banks, calling registered voters in California. We've been able to put up quite a few ads on the radio. We're the dominant voice, of course, on the internet and the social media, but we're building up our war chest so that we can at least, in the last 2 weeks of the campaign, get out a lot of television ads to counter the lies that are out there. We're confident we're going to win, but we can't win without a certain amount of money and without a vast number of volunteers helping us. It
certainly would make sense, it seems to me, for Whole Foods, if they want to maintain consumer confidence that they are getting true, whole, natural foods, that they would want to jump in with this. I can't understand either how they could argue, how the other side could argue that this is going to increase food costs. I mean, there's labels with extensive ingredients on there right now on all the foods that people buy. What is their argument for that? How do they try? Do they try to support that, or do they just make an assertion?
They're just making that assertion because they know that most Americans are financially stressed these days, and that the cost of food is a major factor in our household budgets. So they're trying to say that this is going to raise the cost of your food hundreds of dollars a year. And, they have no basis for saying this, because the bottom line is that if a company like Kellogg's, for example, wants to admit that there's genetically engineered corn in their Kellogg's Corn Flakes or in their Kashi, so-called natural cereal, all they have to do is the next time they print labels on these cereal boxes, they add a few words saying it was produced using genetic engineering. The cost of this ink, of course, is negligible. I mean, what they're really talking about in industry is that they want to keep concealing from us the fact that these subsidized, taxpayer-subsidized genetically engineered crops, corn, soybeans, corn, sugar beets, canola, and so on, reduce their costs, their input costs a little bit. Yeah. But the bottom line is that the public wants a choice. If you look at the European Union, for example, which is the largest agricultural market in the world, when they required genetically engineered foods to be labeled over a decade ago, it did not cause a rise in food prices. What it does cause is consumers to pay attention to labels and for them to voice their concerns to their grocery stores and to the manufacturers if they're utilizing a technology, in this case genetic engineering, that has not been properly safety tested and is not properly regulated.
That's right. It's not going to raise their costs. What it might do is it might lower some of their profits temporarily until they start providing people what the people really want. That's correct.
Exactly.
Well, I certainly wish you the best, and we're going to continue to cover this. Keep us informed as to how things are going. And everybody, even though we're here in Texas, this is something that affects the entire nation. So hopefully people all over the nation will pay attention, and not just large corporations like Whole Foods, but maybe individuals will send some money to support this, because it's something we're all into. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Good night. Well, that's it for the Nightly News. I'm David Knight. Don't forget that our Money Bomb is in just 2 days. We're going to have a 48-hour Money Bomb, but you can start donating now. And you're not going to find the mainstream news talking about issues like someone being put on a no-fly list and stranded in away from home. That's not the kind of stories that they cover. But InfoWars does. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central.
Who controls the present, controls the past.
The death of bin Laden marks the most significant achievement to date in our nation's effort to defeat al-Qaeda.
All you got to do is start looking around, start thinking for yourself, start investigating things, and you will see it all right there. So you have the power. Humanity has the power. We have the power. Do you want to fight? You better believe you got one.
Let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories.
As for me, give me liberty or give me death! InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. We just expanded next door. We're coming for the New World Order. Yeah! It's InfoWars Money Bomb 2012. 48 hours to change the world. Here's freedom. InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com to read our mission and to see the amazing roster of guests we've got lined up, sharing their insights on liberty and resistance to tyranny. I got involved in radio and TV as well as filmmaking 17 years ago because I didn't like the direction I saw our country and our world going in.
the attacks on basic freedoms like the Second Amendment, the move towards collectivism in the nanny state. And over the last decade and a half, Infowars.com and my radio show and the films have become really part of the core resistance to tyranny worldwide. It seems like yesterday, but it was more than 5 years ago that I was sitting in my small office of about 3,000 square feet and realized that we were already reaching millions of people a week and that we had a responsibility to expand our operations in the face of the globalist. It was listeners 5 years ago that demanded we have a money bomb and expand our operations. We've gone from less than 10 crew members to more than 50 today. 5 years ago, I was reaching about 3 million people a week. Now it's 15 million a week conservatively. Imagine what will happen if you just tell one person a day about Infowars.com or our news reports that are online. Imagine what will happen if you donate just $5 or $10 to InfowarsMoneyBomb.com and allow us to go to the next level and put the nightly news out on free-to-air satellite worldwide. No, that one action won't save the world, but it will trigger brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere that will bring down the globalist and restore humanity on the right path of justice and liberty and a level playing field. We have a choice: the globalist dark age of control freak technocracy or 1776 worldwide. This October 18th and 19th, from Thursday morning right through into Saturday morning, it's InfoWars Money Bomb 2012. 48 hours to change the world. I'll see you live with the free video and audio streams emanating from PrisonPlanet.com and Infowars.com. I'm Alex Jones, defending liberty, resisting tyranny.